And we're on.
We're on. Okay.
We're back on. So we'll go back here a little bit, and I'll just ask you about.
Ignore that, Ron.
I'll ignore that.
That's
So
Chelsea.
that's you. I'll ask you about like Esther's name because I thought her other name Rhonda would have been about Gas Rhonda,
Gas Rhonda, yeah.
but you said it's not.
No. Well, you know, I worked for Gas Rhonda for Arthur Murray's. That's how I met Gas Rhonda.
Yeah.
So, but that's not why we named Esther that. The reason we named Esther, or was going to name Esther Rhonda, is because Mary liked Rhonda Fleming, the actress.
Yeah.
She thought she was so beautiful and everything, you know. So we thought if we had a girl, her name was going to be Rhonda Marie. And then it just so happened that Mom died at that particular time prior to Esther being born. So we thought, well, we have to carry on my mother's name.
Yeah.
You know, so we named her Esther Teresa after Mom. And Esther didn't like it when she was a young.
Because it's an
a young
older
girl.
name for a
Yeah,
teenager.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
rough on a teenager.
Yeah, right. But she's satisfied with it now.
I don't blame her.
She is my darling, that Esther.
So much like Mary.
Hey,
Personality to looks to everything.
let me
it's
tell
like
you
a twin.
something. I even sometimes call her Mary
Yeah.
because she'll do some little thing that I see Mary right now, you know, and I call her Mary. And but that's good.
Yeah.
That is good. Yeah.
Everybody loves her.
You know,
Keep her.
when Mary was pregnant with Esther, I thought, oh man, it's got to be a girl. I've got 4 boys, you know.
Yeah.
It has to be a girl. It has to be a girl. And if it was, I was going to get myself fixed. Anyway, by gosh, it became a girl. And when I went into the operating room, they wouldn't let me touch her. You know, they said, "Oh, look at the little toes and the little fingers, and you know, blah blah blah." So I went to touch her toes. And the old nurse, she jerked Esther away from me, you know, like I was poisoned or something, you know, or contaminated. But anyway, oh God, that was a joy of my life.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. I mean, I love all my kids, but to me, little girls are the sweetest things in the world, you know?
Yeah.
And I had one.
Yeah. That's cool. So you worked for Gas Rhonda.
I worked for Gas Run. I started in 1954, and we weren't only employer-employee. You know, Gas taught me the dancing business,
Yeah.
but Gas was really into drag racing at the time.
Yeah.
And he asked me to come with him one time, and it hooked me, you know.
Yeah.
So every weekend, Gas and I'd go to a drag somewhere. He became the national champ in the 1956 Buick that I bought from him.
Okay.
And boy, that was a car, a really car. Mary can vouch for this. Well, she can't now, but she could. When we went to Tulsa, for instance, I had the car at the time, and every night on the way home from the studio, somebody would come up to me at a light. We'd have to go down the street, boy, and nobody ever beat me in that car. God, it was a Buick Special, 1956 Special, but he had a Century engine put in it, and it was really tweaked out. I mean, all kinds of little goodies that he threw in there. I wouldn't know what they were, but he knew his cars at Gas Rhonda. You know, he became very, very famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, very famous. Yeah.
Yep.
He was sponsored by Ford.
With a Thunderbolt.
Yep. Yeah. And then I had well, that was my 56 Buick.
That's 56.
Then I had a 58 Thunderbird.
Yep.
I
Blue.
bought brand new.
Powder blue with teardrops.
With the metallic navy blue bullets at teardrops.
Yeah.
And the teardrops were the same color. It was a beautiful car, really. Then I had a 58 Corvette. It was burnt orange Beautiful car. God, I love that car, but Mary wouldn't have it because Ricky had to sit on the console. You know, it's only two-seater, you know.
I bet Ricky's pissed now.
Oh, hey, Rick loved it, you know, because Rick really a car buff.
He was a carb up then.
He was you know what? When we went back to Tulsa, he was so small that he could stand in the back seat, put his head up on the headliner and fall asleep. But he knew how to identify cars. He'd see a Ford coming, he'd say Ford. Chevy coming, Chevy.
Yeah,
Studebaker, you know. He knew cars from when he could talk.
yeah,
Yeah, he's always been a real car buff. Jackie's pretty much the same way, but
yeah.
Rick was more into it, you know, in the cars. Jack was into motorcycles more.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's see. After the Corvette, I had a Grand Torino, but this was later.
Well, you had a big black Buick convertible with
I-
red interior.
That was a 1959 Buick Electra.
I rode in that side.
Oh man, that was a gorgeous car. Black, shiny,
Big fins.
big fins on them. You know the '59 models. You
Yeah.
know they had the big fins, white top, red interior, red and white interior. You know, when I bought that car, I traded the Corvette off for it because Mary was pissed off because Ricky had to ride on the console. You know.
Yeah.
So I said, well, we were working in San Francisco. Excuse me, at the time at Arthur Murray's there. And I drove by the Buick dealer one day, and I saw this convertible in the window, and I, oh God, what a nice looking car, you know. So, make a long story short, I went in and we made the deal, and I traded the Corvette for the Buick. And I drove it up to the studio, parked it out on the street, and the studio was upstairs. So Mary was up there working already, so I went up, and after she finished her session with a student, I said, come here, I want to show you something. So we went to the window, you know, and I looked down, and there's this big, long, black, shiny, new convertible with the top down and the red and white upholstery, you know. And she says, what's that? And she kind of knew, but she didn't know, you know.
Yeah.
And I says, that's your car, honey, you know. You know, oh boy, she fell in love with that car.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah. You're lucky.
yeah, really. That's the first one she fell in love with.
And then 59, no, 60, you got a Corvair.
Yeah, that was 61.
61.
1961, I got a Corvair station wagon. You know, that was a really neat little car.
Yeah.
The only thing about it, it leaked that oil because it had the opposing cylinders, you know,
Yeah.
like a Volkswagen. It was kind of an oil leaker. But boy, it'd go like hell. We went down to Disneyland in that thing
Yeah.
when we first got it. Yeah, we took the kids down there. And then, let's see, I also had a 63 Lincoln Continental,
Yeah.
baby blue. Oh God, beautiful car. The interior had plushes. You can get a plush like that couch over there, you know.
Yeah.
And it had the big chrome strips inside and everything. And the suicide doors opened up, you know, in the back. God, oh, it was gorgeous. I'll tell you, really gorgeous. Then I had the urge to buy a Toyota Land Cruiser, the Jeep type, you know.
Yeah.
So I traded. I did a lot of stupid moves in my day.
You had the car that was so cool. I had to go out and buy one.
Did you?
63 Falcon Ranchero,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I made my Ranchero same color, same interior, everything that you had, 4-speed on
Did
the
you?
floor.
Yeah,
With the little 260 V8.
yeah, yeah.
One thing I didn't do is put the scallops in.
Yeah, well, Tommy the Greek striped that. He also striped the Thunderbird for me, and he striped a toilet seat for me, which I still have.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he did the Thunderbird and the
And
Ranchero.
the Ranchero.
He striped both of those, but
Yeah.
not on any of the other cars.
No, the other cars I had striped by another guy. Yeah.
Oh,
But
was he-
this was after Tommy quit, you know.
Yeah.
After, you know, Tommy, he got dementia in his later years, and, you know, he just didn't know what he was doing.
No, that was Mary's uncle.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Tommy the Greek, yeah.
Yeah.
very famous. He's in the Hall of Fame, this, Stripers Hall of Fame, you know. When, at his funeral, boy, I'll tell you, all the big stripers from all around the United States came to his funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was very well thought of, you know, in that field. Yeah.
Now, if we could go back a tad bit to your drag racing days, that I mean, even horse riding days. I'll just talk about your different hobbies, because I've always been amazed at the different hobbies,
Yeah, well,
hobbies or interests that
Yeah.
you get into, and you get into them so deep.
Yeah, I do.
Like, I mean, full, just like you're Masonic
Well,
now, but
Yeah.
full all the way into it.
You know, Rod, I always did do that, though.
Yeah.
You know, I always felt, I guess, that, you know, if it's worth doing, it's worth doing right.
Yeah.
And do it as best you can, which I always tried to do.
Yeah.
And I'm not patting myself on the back or anything, but everything that I ventured into, I kind of did well. Yeah, I mean, I'll give you, for instance, archery. You know,
Yeah.
I took up archery and fell in love with it right away, and God, it was a hell of a good bowman. It really was. Even Mary got involved in it, you know.
Yeah.
And we used to do all the tournaments in the Bay Area, you know, go to the different ranges. It's like going to a golf course. They have targets set up at different yardages, you know, and they score differently. So you play a round of golf, you play a round of archery.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you get into something, you always got to get into the equipment. Which I had equipment up the bum, you know,
Yeah.
in everything that I did. I always did. Just to advance one stage now, from the archery to the scuba diving.
Yeah.
I got the bug to scuba dive from the TV show where
Sea hunt.
Sea Hunt. Oh God, man!
Bridges.
I used to watch that thing and just put myself in that position, dreaming that I was doing it. You know.
Yeah.
So I sent away and bought a tank and regulator and a wetsuit, which I had to make. The wetsuit came in pieces. You had to glue them together to fit.
Yeah.
Make sure you fit them, which I did. And when my tank showed up, it was full of air. And at the time, you didn't have to be certified. You could just go scuba diving, you know, on your own. So the tank showed up at the house, UPS, the regulator, the mask, fins, you know, the whole thing except the suit. And I had to try that damn thing on. I filled the bathtub. Oh God, it was so funny. I put the tank on the side of the bathtub, and I laid down in there with the mask on and the regulator, and I'm breathing, you know. And Mary came in. She says, "What in the hell are you doing?" You know, I felt so stupid after realizing really what how I must look, laying in the bathtub with the tank outside. Oh God,
You're lucky
that
you
was
didn't get the
something else.
bends getting out of it.
Yeah, right. And then another kind of little hobby I had was quick draw.
Yeah, I remember that.
I bought a quick draw outfit from a friend of mine, and boy, I really came good at it. I smack them off, and I load my own wax loads, you know. And George was into it at that time too,
Yeah.
in his own way. But anyway, this was when we lived on 38th Avenue in Oakland, in that little one-room house almost,
Yeah.
you know. And I was practicing the flip into the holster one day, and I flew up and hit Mary in the head. Went up my finger. Oh God, she was so mad at me. You know? And then, you know, talking about that house, one day Leola came by with Stephen and a couple of the other kids. I forget which ones they were. And Stephen was Dennis the Menace, you know.
Yeah.
That was Stephen. He walks in the house and he looks around and he goes, "Hey, where's the rest of your house?" I mean, we still crack up every time we think about that. Because he was only a little guy like that, you know, talking the way he did.
He had some some good sayings.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Hey, where you brother?
Yeah, and he even dove off a chair one day, showing me how he would dive into a swimming pool.
Yeah.
Onto the patio. No pool there.
No pool.
Onto the patio. Head first he went. This was when they lived in Dublin.
Yeah.
God, what a screwy little guy. You know, he became a bull rider, you know, for
Uh-huh.
a few years there. And I never in my life ever dreamed that he would do that, but I guess he was fairly decent
Pretty
at it,
good,
you know.
yeah.
But he told me it was awfully dangerous job, which you can tell if you ever see or watch bull riding. It, God, you know, I would never try it.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's
You
get
did,
back to where.
let's see, you did archery,
Oh, yeah.
scuba,
Oh,
quick draw.
Well, we then Mary and I did a lot of golfing. We played golf
Golf.
for quite a few years, and I was never an Arnold Palmer, but
Yeah.
I always had a lot of fun. I loved to play. I really did. Yeah. The only thing I hated to play with my brother Ronald because he was such a poor loser.
Oh, yeah.
You know, God Almighty.
I never been in so many fights as the time I took him golfing.
Oh yeah, I believe
It
it.
was arguing every
Yeah,
single hole.
I believe it. Yeah, yeah. And then too, about that time, about the time that I bought my first airplane, I had a partner, Ed Ryan.
Yeah.
We bought the airplane together. Actually, we had another partner, but he only lasted a couple of months, and he figured he wasn't flying it enough, so he wanted his money back. So we gave him his money back.
Yeah.
Ed and I kept the airplane though. Ed Ryan was a wonderful person. He was a lodge brother of mine, and you know, I just loved him. You know, he's a great guy. He was a B-17 co-pilot
Oh.
during the war. He made 21 missions, and they made it. You know,
Yeah.
and so many of them didn't. That was a terrible, terrible time of the war when all those B-17s were.
You counted every